Morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Bonjour, Easterborn, or Hantlena. Thank you very much. This is your Menier Wasava. So, one of the students asked me to review this question, of which this was based on the assignment, of which this is focusing on grade 10. This is what is the grade 10 content, but then it will be for grade 10 and 11. But this was for grade 10 assignment. Okay, the first question says to us 1.1. Let us now do what? Let us determine the what? Determine the coordinates. The coordinates of what? Of D. So now, according to the sketch, before going any further to answer the question, let us understand the sketch, what they are saying in the statement. They're saying in the diagram, the coordinates of A is 4 and 4. The coordinate of B is what? That is 12 and negative 4. And then the coordinate of C, that will be negative 1 and negative 4. And the coordinate of G, that will be 13 and P, which means there's a missing number there, of which is Y. The Y coordinate is missing there. Okay, they said they are given. Then they say to you, HC, it's perpendicular to what? To AC. I hope you are there. All right. Now they say to you, AC again is parallel to what? To DE. And then they say CEB, it is a straight line. And then they say D, it is the midpoint of what? Of A and B. Okay, the length of AG is equals to how much? Talk to me. That is equals to square root of 85. That is the length of AG. Okay, now let us focus. They said this is the what? The midpoint. Okay, but then here, the first question says determine the coordinate of what? Of D. That will be X and Y, of which those are the midpoints. So by determining the coordinates, we're just going to do this. Now, we remember that that will be x1 plus what? Plus x2 divided by what? By 2. I know some of you use what? You use xa and xb. I know some of you use that. Okay, but then we are not there. Let us focus on this one. Even if you do that one, it's fine. All right, then they say to you y1 plus what? Plus y2 is divided by what? By 2. That is what? That is the formula for the what? For the midpoint. Okay, talk to me. Then for we go and name the what? The coordinate. That is number 1. You name the coordinate. That will be what? X1. And that will be what? Y1. And this one will be what? X2. This one will be what? Y2. Remember, we are looking at A and B. Why looking at A and B? Because they said D, it is the midpoint of what? It is the midpoint of A and B. So we are going to use A and B as advantage. Okay, talk to me. This is what you're going to do now. What is X1 here on A? Okay, X1 it's 4. That is 4 plus. What is X2 here? That is 12. Then you put 12 divided by 2. Then you come here. What is Y1 here? Y1 is 4 also. Plus, what is what? What is y2? Y2 is negative 4. So whenever it meets with this one, it's going to change this sign because positive multiplied by negative, that will be what? That will be negative. So that means we're going to have what here? We're going to have subtraction sign of which that is going to be minus what? 4. Divided by how much? By 2. I hope you understand this part. All right. Then we come now, we continue. 4 plus 4, that is how much? That is going to give us 16 divided by 2. Then here is going to give us 0 divided by 2. I hope you're still with me. Okay, talk to me now. 16 divided by 2, that is how much? Please use your calculator if you're not sure. 16 divided by 2 now, that will be how much? That will be 8. Yeah? And then when you come here, 0 divided by 2, any number divided by 0, that is how much? That is 0. So the coordinate of D, it is what? It is 8 and 0. Truly, so to check that this is a true, you can see that the what? Your coordinate there at D there, the coordinate of D there, it's sitting on the what? On the y-axis. Not y, sorry, the x-axis. That means the y coordinate should be what? Should be 0. Those are the things that you need to understand. Let us move quickly on question 1.2. Okay, let us hear 1.2. What was it saying? All right, I hope you are fine with this one. So examiner, when he marks, that is going to be 1 for correct and 2 for what? For correct substitution, and then what? 1 for this one. That was for 3 marks. Ne? The question was 1.1, that was for 3 marks. That means 1 correct for substitutions and 2 marks for what? For correct coordinates of D. I hope you are fine. All right, let us move to question 1.2 now. Let us move to 1.2 now. Okay, moving to 1.2, talk to me. What does 1.2 say? It says again, determine the coordinates. The coordinates of what? The coordinates of E. That is for 2 marks. Okay, talk to me. So now, this is very simple and straightforward. So talk to me now. So in order for us to determine the coordinates of E, you can also say, okay, by checking this triangle, we can see that this length, they've told us that this side and this side is equal. And what? That means that is a triangle of which it reminds us of what? Of the midpoint theorem in geometry. That means we can treat E as what? As our midpoint. How to determine E? You just going to use midpoint. Then that is how we're going to do it. X1 plus X2, that is divided by how much? By 2. Then you just say Y1 plus what? Plus Y2, that is divided by what? By 2. And then we come. That will be. Now, already we have named the what? Yx2 and what? And Y2. That will be what? X1, Y1. I hope you are fine. You are following. Okay. What is X1? X1 is -1. I hope you are fine. Plus, what is X2? X2, it's 12. Divided by how much? By 2. Then let's come to Y1. Y1 is how much? That will be -4. Then that one is going to be how much? -4 also, divided by 2. Why we are saying negative? Because negative times positive, that will be negative still. Okay, talk to me now. Here we are going to have how much? That is going to be, you must press this on a calculator very quickly. Ne? You must not make mistake, guys. You must not make mistakes. So now, that will be 11 over how much? Over 2. I hope you're with me. Then here we are going to have how much? That will be -8 over how much? Over 2. Then we close the bracket, equals to, open the bracket. Then you just write coordinates of E here. And then 11 divided by 2, that is still the 11 divided by 2. That will be 11 divided by how much? By 2. Then we come here, -8 divided by 2. That will be negative how much? -4. I hope you are still following. So these are the coordinates of what? Of E. I hope you are fine. Let me just move to the next question. That was for 2 marks, ne? So 2 marks is going to be 1 mark, 1 mark. That is for 2 marks. That is for 2 marks. And if you can check the y coordinate, it is what? It is -4 because it is on the straight line. I hope you are following me. Thank you. Let's come now and look at 1.3. Let us look at 1.3. Okay, what was 1.3 saying? They said to us 1.3, determine the gradient. The gradient of, they said AC. And they said, examiner said that I will give you 3 marks if you determine the gradient of AC. Guys, whenever this is a topic that is the most easiest topic that I've ever seen. Okay, I don't know why most of you are failing this, but let us focus on this. Whenever they're talking about gradient, that is easy. You're going to use the formula for gradient. That is a gradient of AC is equals to, remember, changing y over changing x. That will be what? Y2 minus what? Y1 divided by what? By x2 minus what? By x1. I hope you're still following. Equals to. Now, you focus on AC now. Where is AC? Here it's AC. Already we have named here that this will be x1. That cannot be x1 and x1. That means you must change other coordinates. That will be x2. Okay, what is y2? Y2, it is -4 on what? On C. And then what is y1? Y1 is how much? It's 4. That will be minus what? -4 divided by, what is x2? X2 is -1. Then we come there. What is x1? That x1 will be much? minus 4, then it's equals to minus 4, that will be minus 8, divided by minus 1 minus 4, that will be minus what? Minus 5. Already negative and negative are going to cancel. That means the gradient of what? Of AC, that will be how much? That will be 8 over 5. Then you get your 3 marks. 1 mark, 1 mark for correct substitution. And that will be the very same thing. 1 mark for correct substitution on the change in y and the change in x. I hope you are following. Let us move to question 1.4. Let us move to question 1.4. You cannot be failing this, guys. That cannot be. I don't know why I've raised that, because they said gradient again. So 1.4, they said determine the gradient. Determine the gradient. Now they say the gradient of HC. Where is HC? Here is HC. Oh, my God. And they say I will give you for what? For 2 marks. There's no need for you to Tatazel to say, I mean here, we are not having the coordinates of H there. No. Let us go back to the statement. They said what? HC is perpendicular to what? To AC. That is number 1. Whenever 2 lines are perpendicular, that is where you need to understand that their product must be equals to what? To -1. That means how are we going to find the length, the gradient of HC? We're going to say, okay, the gradient of HC multiplied by the gradient of what? Of AC. That will must give us what? -1. Why? Because they are perpendicular. Once they start to be perpendicular, that means those 2 lines, the product of those 2 lines must give you what? The -1 there. Okay, do we have the gradient for King? The gradient of HC? No, we are determining it. So that will be the gradient of HC multiplied by, we substitute. What was the gradient of AC? That was 8 over how much? 8 over 5 equals to -1. Then let's talk. We divide both sides by how much? 8 over 5. What you do on the left hand side, you must also do on the right hand side. This thing, guys, when it comes here, that will be like this. That will be divided by what? 8 over 5. So here, the 8 and 8 over 5 will cancel. We'll be left with what? Gradient of HC is equals to. Then here, you change the sign there. That will be what? When you change it, that must be -1 multiplied by. When you change, that must be the reciprocal. The one that was on the bottom must go on the above. The one that was above must go on the bottom. Now let's talk now. That will be 5 over 8. I hope you are fine. Then our answer here for gradient of HC, that will be what? -5 over 8. Therefore, that will be your mark. They mark you for this and mark you for that correct formula that you have used. Can we go to 1.5? Yes. Okay, let us move quickly now. Let us move to 1.5. Okay, 1.5, what did they say? They said to us, 1.5. This is the question that most of the learners were crying off. Calculate the value of P. Where is P? P is on G, of which that was 13 and what? And P. So now, guys, what you need to understand here, as much as you do not have the gradient of HG, that means the examiner, guys, I will let you know this. This is a secret. Examiner cannot give you the length of AG, while that is useless. They are giving you the length of AC because they know that you are going to use it. You are going to need it. So here, remember, we are focusing here. In order for us to get the value of FP there, that means we must use what? We must use that length there. But remember, we have 4 and 4 for coordinates of what? Of A. So AG in all, that will be equal to how much? Square root of 85. So we're going to use the advantage of that. That means, remember, we're going to say, okay, AC, we're going to use the distance formula. AG is equals to square root of what? X2 minus X1 all squared plus into Y2 minus Y1. I'm not going to explain this because you know it. Okay, what is AG? You substitute square root of 85. Anna? Then you just say square root. Now you name your coordinate. That will be X1. That will be Y2. Y1, sorry. And then this one will be X1. And this one will be what? x2, y2. Talk to me. What is x2 now? X2 there it is what? It is 4. Okay, minus what is x1? That is 30 all squared plus into what is y2? That will be 4 minus what is y2? Y1 is what? Y1 is p squared. Ane? Okay, before going any further, let us firstly deal with this one. We'll leave that square root of 85 as it is, equals to square root of 4 minus 13 is how much? That is negative 9 all squared plus what? Plus into 4 minus p all squared. Right. Now we need to, we are not going to work with these two, what? We are not going to work with these two square roots. What do we do in order for us to remove the square roots on both sides? You just square both sides. What you do on the left hand side, you must also do on the right hand side. That square will cancel the square root. We will be left with what? 85 equals to square root cancel squared. That will be what? Negative 9 squared, that is how much? That will be 81 plus what? We are left with 4 minus p all squared. Then let us put this in a standard form. That will be 4 minus p all squared plus what? Plus 81 equals to 85. I haven't changed nothing. I just to put this in a what? In a standard form. Okay, this side we're going to be left with 4 minus p all squared equals to that side. When you transpose this, remember you're going to be what? Minus 1. Then 85 minus 1, that will be how much? 4. Okay, let us square both sides now. You cannot square both sides when you arrive here. That will never happen because you are going to get wrong answers. I hope you can hear me thoroughly. Okay, talk to me now. So when you arrive on this situation, this is where now you're going to do what? You open two smaller what? Smaller brackets. I will just open them here. You open two smaller brackets of it, that will be 4. You don't change the signs. Equals to 4. Then 4 multiplied by 4, you're going to be left with 4 minus what? Minus 8p plus what? Plus p squared equals to how much? 4. Remember, you must put this when you simplify this, you're going to get your final answer on this one. So let us put that this in the format that we know. That will be p squared minus 8p plus what? Plus 4. Remember, you need to transpose. When you transpose, it changes the sign. That will be minus 4 equals to how much? 0. Then talk to me now. Okay, so now, no guys, sorry, here it was supposed to be 4 multiplied by 4, that was 16. So here it's 16 guys, sorry. Okay, we are fine, that was just that. Okay, now talk to me. How are we going to deal with this one now? So here that will be, we will be left with p squared minus 8p, 16 minus 4, that will be plus 12 equals to 0. We open two small brackets. Why? Because this is a trinomial. You open two small brackets equals to 0. That will be p okay, before saying introducing, okay, what are factors of 12? When you add them, they give you 8. That will be 6 and what? And 2. If you're not sure, just put them on the calculator. And then the bigger factor, take the sign of the middle term. How's the sign of the middle term? Negative. Then the last term tells you that the signs in the bracket are going to be the same because that is what? Addition. That means I'm going to say minus. Therefore, your final answer, that should be p equals to how much? 6 or what? P equals to 2. Now, let's confirm. Let's confirm. You are having two values of p here. Let us confirm. If you can check here, let us check here, guys. If you can check y here, we are focusing on y here. Ne? So y cannot be 2 because when you check a, it passes what? 4. That means it has passed 2 long time ago. That means the focus is going to be what? P is equals to 6. That means this one just say p is not equals to 2. Therefore, your final answer, that will be p equals to how much? 6. Then you get your full 4 marks. You get your full 4 marks. That is how you're going to solve for that. I hope you are fine, guys. I hope you are fine. And thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. Tanko.